يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد.
Qusay bin Kilab was the person who first reclaimed the leadership of Mecca from the Banu Umayyah tribe. He married Hubi, the daughter of the Umayyah chief, Hulayl. As a result of this marriage, Qusay gained the custodianship of the Kaaba. However, the Banu Umayyah did not accept their chief's decision, leading to a war. Ultimately, through reconciliation, Qusay was accepted as the custodian of the Kaaba, while the Banu Umayyah were compensated for their losses. In 460 CE, Qusay established the Dar al-Nadwa in Mecca, where the Quraysh would convene for important matters. This building was located opposite the Kaaba. It was in this very building that the Quraysh planned the assassination of Prophet Muhammad. After the death of Qusay's father, his mother remarried Rabi'a bin Haram from the Banu Udra tribe, which was situated near the Syrian border. At that time, Qusay was an infant. He returned to Mecca during his youth, having learned statecraft and politics from the people of Syria. Qusay instituted an annual tax called Rifadar on the Quraysh, intended to provide food and hospitality for pilgrims. He also dug a well for the pilgrims in Mecca, since the Zamzam well had been buried due to foreigners' invasions. Qusay's eldest son was Abd al-Dar. Qusay assigned all positions of authority to him, which led to disputes among his other sons. Eventually, a reconciliation was reached where the responsibilities of providing water and food, Sakaya and Rifada, were assigned to Abd Manaf, while the roles of the Nadwa, parliament, custodianship of the Kaaba and the military operations, Liwa, remained with Abd al-Dar. Among the prominent leaders of Banu Abd al-Dar was Nadr bin Harith. He brought stories and musical instruments from Syria or Persia to divert people from the Quran. He was killed in the Battle of Badr. It's reported that the verse, "And our Lord, if this is the truth from you, then rain down upon us stones from the sky or bring us a painful punishment," Quran 8:32, was revealed regarding him. Another interpretation suggests the verses, and they say, "Our Lord, hasten for us our share before the day of account," Quran 38:16, and a supplicant asked for a punishment bound to happen, Quran 71, were also revealed about him. Later, the responsibilities of the Nadwa, parliament, passed to the Banu Amir within Banu Abd al-Dar, while the keys to the Kaaba and the battle standard remained with the Banu Talha. From Banu Talha, Uthman bin Talha accepted Islam before the conquest of Mecca. He migrated to Medina with Khalid bin Walid and Amr bin al-As, and before the conquest in the 8th year of Hijrah. And before Islam, he held the keys to the Kaaba, which the Prophet Muhammad returned to him after the conquest of Mecca, stating that anyone who takes them unjustly will be a wrongdoer. The keys have remained with his family since. Uthman's father, Talha, was killed in the Battle of Uhud while carrying the Quraysh's flag. Abd Manaf had 4 sons. 3 sons, Hashim, Abd Shams and Muttalib, were from Atika bint Murrah, while the 4th son, Naufal, was from Waqidah bint Adi. Hashim and Abd Shams were twins, and it is said that their fingers were conjoined at birth, and when separated, blood was drawn, which was seen as an omen of future conflict. Hashim secured trade permissions from the rulers of Syria and Rome, Muttalib from the Himyarite kings, Abd Shams from Abyssinia, and Naufal from the Persian kings. Among the descendants of Abd Manaf, Hashim organized 2 trade caravans for the Quraish, one to Yemen and Abyssinia in winter and another to Syria, Palestine and Ankara in summer. On one such journey to Syria, Hashim married Salma, the daughter of Amr bin Zayd Najjari, a leader of the Khazraj tribe in Medina. He did not return from this journey and died in Syria. In the narration of Sunan Abi Dawud, It is mentioned that during the Battle of Khaybar, the Prophet Muhammad gave an equal share of the spoils to both Banu Hashim and Banu Muttalib, but did not give a share to Banu Abd Shams and Banu Naufal. Hazrat Uthman belonged to Banu Abd Shams and Jubair bin Mut'im to Banu Naufal. They both came to the Prophet Muhammad and said, "Our relationship with you and Banu Muttalib is equal. We are all descendants of one father, yet you have given Banu Muttalib and not us." To this, the Prophet replied, "Banu Hashim and Banu Muttalib are one in Jahiliyyah, pre-Islamic times, and in Islam." Through this statement, the Prophet referred to an incident in pre-Islamic times when Naufal, the uncle of Abdul Muttalib, took control of a well belonging to Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib sought help from the Quraysh, but they refused to get involved in a dispute between uncle and nephew. Abdul Muttalib then sought help from his maternal relatives, the Banu Najjar. His uncle led a cavalry of 80 riders from Medina to help him, and Naufal eventually returned the well to Abdul Muttalib. After this dispute, Naufal allied with Abd Shams, while the other two brothers, Muttalib and Hashim, remained united. Thus, the brothers were divided. Banu Abd Shams included notable figures such as Umayyah, Rabia, and Abd al-Uzza. Among the descendants of Umayyah were Harb, Abu Amr, Abu al-As, and Abu al-Is. Harb notably served as the Quraysh's commander in the Fijar War between the people of Mecca and Taif. His son, Abu Sufyan, was the commander for the disbelievers in the battles of Uhud and Khandak. Another descendant, Abu Amr's son, Abu Mu'ayt, had a son named Uqba who would sit in the Prophet's gatherings and was influenced by him. Uqba once invited the Prophet to a feast, agreeing to attend only if Uqba recited the Shahada, which he did. However, his close friend Umayyah bin Khalaf coerced Uqba into spitting on the Prophet's face. The wretched Uqba complied. Uqba was later captured and executed in the Battle of Badr. It is said that the verse, "And warn of the day the wrongdoer will bite on his hands in regret and say, 'Oh, I wish I had taken with the messenger away,'" Quran 25:27, was revealed about him. His son, Walid bin Uqba, embraced Islam during the conquest of Mecca. Walid, a poet, faced accusations of drinking alcohol, which led to his punishment and removal from the governorship during Hazrat Uthman's caliphate. Among Umayyah's other descendants were Abu al-As and his sons Hakam and Affan. Hakam accepted Islam post-conquest of Mecca, and his son Marwan bin Hakam served as Hazrat Uthman's scribe and was appointed governor of Medina by Hazrat Muawiyyah. Despite some controversy over his status as a Sahabi, Marwan's contributions are noted in Islamic history. Affan's descendant, Hazrat Uthman, became the third caliph, marrying two of the Prophet's daughters, and was promised paradise. During the conquest of Mecca, Atta bin Usaid, a descendant of Abu al-Is, was appointed governor of Mecca by the Prophet. Among the descendants of Abd Shams, besides Umayyah, there was also Rabia. Rabia's son, Utbah, offered refuge to the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, in his grape orchard near Taif. Utbah played a significant role in stopping the Fijar War. Some say he offered the Prophet, PBUH, three things: kingship, wealth, and women. The Prophet, PBUH, responded by reciting the first 13 verses of Surah Fussilat. Utbah returned to the Quraysh's gathering and said, "I have heard such a speech that is neither poetry nor sorcery. O Arabs, leave Muhammad, PBUH, to his own affairs. If he prevails over the other tribes and becomes the king of Arabs, he is one of you. And if he doesn't, at least you will not be disgraced." In the Battle of Badr, he advised the disbelievers to return as Abu Sufyan, or R.A., had safely brought back the Quraysh caravan. However, when Abu Jahl taunted him for cowardice, Utbah prepared for battle and was killed in Badr. He was killed by Hazrat Hamza, R.A., and his son, Walid bin Utbah, was killed by Hazrat Ali, R.A. His daughter, Hind, E.R.A., accepted Islam during the conquest of Mecca and was the wife of Abu Sufyan, R.A. Another son of Utbah, Abu Hudhayfa, R.A., accepted Islam early and migrated to Abyssinia. He challenged his father to a duel at Badr, but the Prophet, PBUH, forbade him from facing his father. Another son, Abu Hisham bin Utbah, accepted Islam before the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. The Banu Abd al-Uzza branch sprang from Abd Shams with descendants like Rabi and Abu al-As, the latter being Hazrat Zainab's husband. Abu al-As was captured during the Battle of Badr, and his release was secured by a necklace that Hazrat Zainab sent, which had belonged to Hazrat Khadija. The Prophet returned the necklace and requested Abu al-As to send Hazrat Zainab to Medina. Despite pressures, he remained married to her. Their daughter, Umama bint Zainab, was lovingly carried on the Prophet's shoulders during prayers. Abu al-As was later praised by the Prophet for his kind treatment of Hazrat Zainab, as narrated in Sahih Bukhari. Moving to Banu Naufal, descendants of Abd Manaf alongside Abd Shams, this clan formed a faction with Naufal against their brothers Hashim and Muttalib. A key figure, Mutim bin Adi, though not a Muslim, showed sympathy towards Muslims. He provided public protection for the Prophet upon his return from Taif, allowing him to re-enter Mecca. Mutim was instrumental in tearing up the boycott document against Banu Hashim and intervened to free Hazrat Sa'd bin Ubadah during the second pledge of Aqaba. Although he died before the Battle of Badr, the Prophet remarked that he would have freed the Badr captives if Mutim had interceded. His son, Jubair bin Mutim, embraced Islam during the conquest of Mecca. However, Jubair's uncle, Tu'aymah bin Adi, was a staunch opponent of the Prophet and was killed by Hazrat Hamza in the Battle of Badr. In a tragic turn of events, Jubair assigned his slave, Washi, skilled in spear throwing, to kill Hazrat Hamza during the Battle of Uhud, a mission Washi completed.
Ya rahmatan lil alameen ya Muhammad.